This is the agenda, super fast. As you know, now we have our commission colleagues. Thank you very much for being here, even with Mediterranean computers and these kind of things. And after that, we will have Nebosha, who will explain. We'll have a very interesting session about the future of EC Day. And then we will go to the graphic design itself with our colleague Aurélie. She's here already with us. So there we go. So we start with our commission colleagues, Astrid and Gianluca. I'm going to stop sharing, so you feel free to share your presentation.
Thank you very much, Laura.
Thank you.
It's coming. So now it should be okay. Can you see it properly?
Yep.
Okay, good. I'm starting, and not the most easy one, to talk about the Interreg Branding 21-27, which has been actually revealed by our commissioner at the Interreg annual event. So that's something you should have followed if you were at the Interreg annual event. And anyway, also it's the achievement of a long discussion, actually since May 2018, when the Commission proposed the new legislation. And that's something now we are very proud of. So why an Interreg branding? First of all, because it's in the regulation, that's something you know, but also because for this new period and also in line with what the corporate communication of the Commission is to make Interreg program recognizable as a brand towards citizens and also amongst other EU programs. Especially because it follows also the policy we have in the REGIO, and as we have also welcomed the Interreg Next program, Interreg ENI-CBC program 2 years ago already, this new branding is having a similar approach for IPA, Interreg IPA program, Interreg Next program, as well as for internal Interreg CBC, transnational and interregional programs. So that's something that will help to be more recognizable and to harmonize. So as you know, and I will try to go through quickly because you followed many informed meeting where you were very well informed about that, but it's true that this is in the common provisions regulation. You know the approach to have a single EU brand approach, meaning that any EU fund should not be mentioned, but only the EU emblem. But in our dear Interreg regulation, it is mandatory actually to see the word Interreg appearing. This is Article 36 of this. And where we wanted also to keep this Interreg specificity, because also it represents a single geographical area, either at cross-border level or also at transnational level. With the hard work of Gianluca, we managed also to keep the name of the program, but that we will see later on. So also communication requirements should be respected, meaning that there will be a sanction if it is not. This you know as well. And where should it appear? On any communication materials, obviously. It should be as a minimum of size A3 poster or equivalent. It should be on the partner's official website or a social media website, but such exist. It should be on plaques, billboards, and of course on any brochure. Yes, sorry, there is a typo mistake, or on any brochure, roll-ups, any communication material you will find interesting. So we really expect to have this branding appearing anywhere. So how it look like precisely for the, I would say, generic Interreg, that should appear like this. And if you want to make it more specified, we, as I said, have aligned the Interreg Next and Interreg IPA program like this. So this is something you can use. This is already available on the Interact website that you should know also very much already. You can download all of the version, but that's something legally completely possible to have. And then what is possible in the end is to add the name of your program. So what we had to respect is actually the EU guidance on the emblem. As it was also explained during INFORM meeting, there is regulation and regulated width and distance between the EU emblem and the rest of any other additional elements. So the name of the program should be clearly separated from the EU emblem, but this is something we are allowed to use. So I would say use and abuse about this. And thanks to the support of Interact, again, we have in common developed a single branding approach where it is possible to add your name. So concretely, it looks like this. This is example you could see in the brand manual. And I know, thanks to Eva, that already 67 Interreg program have their tailor-made branding. So that's really, really good. And I can only encourage you to continue to do so. So that's how we managed actually to keep this Interreg specificity. This is how we managed to keep towards DigiCom the possibility to have the name of the program. We thought it was very important to keep it, as I said, for this geographical specificity, because it means something to see, for example, cooperation between Romania and Moldova. It means something for citizens as well. So it means something for us to see appearing the name of your program. And as you could see as well, it is completely possible either to use the name of your program, keeping the name of the country, like for example, Interreg Next Romania, Moldova. Or you can also use the name of your program like Interreg Aurora. I know that's for some also transnational program who have a longer name, like for example, Interreg Adriatic and Ionian, it is completely also fine to use, for example, Interreg IPA Adrian. So the branding is really a possibility to use a shorter name, a more communicable name, so that you can really use and abuse it. I will stop here. Thank you for your attention. And as I said with Gianluca, we will take the question after his presentation. And everything is findable on the Interact website. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Astrid. Then let's go now to Gianluca, and then we'll take some questions.
Coming in. Good morning.
Good morning.
The Mediterranean laptop was mine, so it's a bit slow and everything. Let's hope it's not slow as well on the presentation. Let's see what I can do there. Well, that should work. Just a second, and you will have it in presentation mode. Voila. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
okay. Great. So first of all, thanks and good morning to everyone. Thanks for having me today. And also, I mean, just a word on what Astrid just presented. I have to say that I'm really impressed by the work that Interact was able to come up with in a short span of time to adjust the Interreg branding to the latest internal guidance received by the Commission. So I'm really impressed, and I'm really impressed also by the number of programs that already received their tailored solution. So really bravo to all the concerned colleagues there. Today, though, I'm here to talk about something a little bit different, which is the new shape of the INFORMEU network, how it is, how it has changed in comparison with the past, and what's the role of Interreg in it. And basically, you will see a lot of slides, but I will try to go quite quick on them. So the new INFORMEU, which is the new name, is the new network, which is the successors of the INFORM and INEO network, which were present until last year. So it's a new community with an expanded membership for better outreach. Why expanded membership? Because as you know, now the CPR foresee the inclusion also of other funds, namely the 3 funds managed by DG Home and the fund of DG Mare, the Maritime Fund. Plus the possibility for the rural development colleagues to come in if they are interested, and the possibility which was added on the run of having also the RRF communicators involved in the network. So it's an effort to join forces at EU and also national levels through the national networks. I will talk about them in a short while. And it's basically a restructuring of a previously successful format. Of course, as I will tell you later, we have to use more and more the digital possibilities for having digital meetings, not only because of the pandemic, but also for the sheer number of colleagues involved. So this beautiful visual is to show you the galaxy of the INFORMEU community and all the actors involved. As you can see, only starting from the European Commission side, we have a lot of actors involved because we have 4, 5, 6 DG involved. And we have the communication coordinators at national level, and we have the communication officers of all programs. So if we talk about the community per se, theoretically, we arrive easily to 1,000 members, which is huge. And as I was saying, with 1,000 members, you can't think about having a full gathering of all the people. So we are using a lot, and we will do it even in the happy days in which the pandemic will be over. We will still use Microsoft Teams as a central platform to do digital meetings. And we had quite an ambitious plan already of trainings that we delivered this year, 22 trainings, and we have similar plan for next year.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Gianluca. Maybe it's just me, but I still only see the first slide.
Oh, that's really annoying. Yeah. Is the same thing for everybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I want to see the galaxy. I know what you're talking about.
Wait. I'll just try and share in another format. Let's see if it works now.
Yeah.
So you see the galaxy.
Yes.
And now that I added information on the galaxy, no.
Maybe if you run it as a presentation, or I can share the.
Because this way you see everything, right?
This way we see all the slides on the left.
Yeah.
And the galaxy in the center.
Yeah.
Now
this works, I think.
This works. So let's do it like this. If it's still readable for you, because otherwise, if I go in the presentation mode, it creates problem. Okay. So as I was saying, but I go to the previous one. As I was saying, 1,000 participants. It's a lot of people. And we are using Microsoft Teams as the main platform to work for digital trainings and workshop. We still plan, I was arriving at this point, we still plan to have physical meetings twice a year like it was for the previous INFORM network. But of course, we can't have 1,000 participants for each meeting, so we are limiting the participation to a maximum of around 320, 330 people, establishing a quota for all member states and countries. And of course, the plenary meetings will not happen in Brussels. This is a bit the novelty in comparison with the previous programming period, because in the previous programming period, we used to have one meeting outside Belgium and one meeting in Belgium. For the new programming period, we will be twice a year going in and hosting countries. So we are establishing a kind of calendar for that as well. And for instance, the meeting that we were supposed to have last week in Dubrovnik, which has been postponed, will happen in March. So in 2022, we will have 3 meetings, one in Dubrovnik, one in Malta, and the third one at the end of the year in Portugal. Next to the big community, we have the INFORMEU expert group, which is a formal commission expert group with 27 members, 1 per member states. And we managed to have 5 observer seats in that for the Schengen associated countries, which are particularly important for some of the funds involved, and a seat for Interreg as well. And I will come back to that in a minute. What the expert group is about is basically the steering group of the big network, and it decides on the work plan of the big network. The cooperation strand, as I was saying, is represented as an observing expert group by none less than Interact, and Nebojsa is the appointed member of the expert group. I think it was recently changed, the appointment, so Nebojsa was with us last week during the digital expert group. I was telling before about the INFORMEU national network. Basically, we are suggesting to follow the letter of the CPR to member states and establish a national network. Interreg programs as such are in a position to be part of 2 different national networks. One is the one that we are gathering around today, so ICON, as the Interreg, let's say, national official network. And then, of course, the Interreg programs can participate, should participate in the national network of the member state hosting their managing authority. So you will have the possibility to be in 2 different networks. I really advise you to follow this, to take advantage of this possibility. Some words on the plenary meetings of INFORMEU and how it will work in terms of participation. So, not possible to have every time a stadium to do the Inform Network meetings. So the physical attendance has been limited to 320 participants, and the breakdown by delegation has been calculated, taking into account equal treatment of delegation, a fair treatment also of the weight that each member state has in terms of population and in terms of programs. And it will work like this. We will allocate 150 places linked to the population of the member state, 150 places linked to the number of programs in the member state, and 32 places will be the ones for the coordinators participating in the expert group, so they are outside of the quota. This is an example that we use for Belgium to make people understand. We calculated the number of people representing in terms of population. That makes 4 persons, 3 persons for the number of programs that Belgium has, and 1 national coordinator. And that's an easy math to do. So what we get after this modulation is that the maximum number reachable for the most populated and member state and with most programs is 25 members, and the minimum number we limited it to 6. Interreg as such was taken into consideration as one of the largest member states, and so Interreg will have 25 seats on the big INFORMEU gatherings. And basically, it's the job of the national coordinator to every time ensure a fair rotation of members participating in the big INFORMEU gatherings. That if, of course, you have more than 25 programs interested in participating. This method of calculation, of course, concerns only the physical attendance of plenary meetings. You can always, because we will do for still some time hybrid meetings as well as the new standard, so you can always participate online even if you are not in the 25-person delegation. And as I said, the national coordinator will be asked to compose their delegation. So Nebojsa, good luck with that. And then we will have, of course, a reserve of places for co-hosting countries, because it's fair that they have the possibility to invite some more people if they host the event. And that was basically it. And I was sorry the presentation mode was not working.
Thank you very much, Gianluca. Any questions now? There was a question about branding in the chat from Martin. We were wondering if the font size of MED program could be increased in our logo so the size is the same as Next.
Well, what we said is that the name of the program should not exceed the EU flag. So I think that the 3 letters MED will not. So basically that's something which is feasible. Yes.
We also have the national country meeting in the afternoon, and branding is one of the topics on the agenda there as well. So we can come back to this topic. If there are no more questions, we can turn to the next presentation, which is concerning the European Cooperation Day. And give me just 1 second to share my presentation. Hope it works. My computer is also Mediterranean, especially my internet connection. Let's see if this works. You see it? All right. So this story and this conversation has been some time coming, but first I would like to share with you the results of this year's campaign. We had a great year. We had a goal for the 10 years of European Cooperation Day to reach the total of 10 million people. At the end of previous year, we had 7.9 million. So we were hoping to get at least 2.1 million people in 2021. And thanks to you, we not only reached it, but we reached much more. So the total number is over 5.3 million people reached in 2021 alone, which makes the total reach of our campaign over 13 million people. And we plan to keep refining it, keep improving it. We had 101 events, which is fantastic, especially concerning all the limitations, all the problems related to the pandemic. So that's wonderful. We have managed to adapt as a team. Total number of participants over 100,000. That number, of course, is so large because we had a lot of online events as well. And I think the distribution between live and online is about 80% of this number is from the online events, but that still makes the number of people coming actually live to our events to around 20,000 people. And when you divide that by 100 events or something, there's like 200 people per event, which is very, very good indeed. We can, of course, keep working to improve it, and we most certainly will. But why did I start with the results? Well, we have managed to reach a lot of people, and one of the reasons why we need to talk about the name of the campaign is this very huge reach that we have, because we need to be very careful with the message that we give, and the name of the campaign is one of the most important parts of the brand. And of course, the new regulation was a big the big signal for us to come back to the question of the European Cooperation Day name, and whether we should keep it, whether it should become Interreg Cooperation Day. And we had this conversation before. I remember some years ago, we were in Edinburgh. We had a very nice big meeting. I don't know if Frank Schneider is here. Is Frank in the meeting? But he was leading a presentation saying, first of all, about the joint brand of Interreg, having the joint logo. And one of the things which I loved at the time, and I still do, but one of the proposals was to rename European Cooperation Day to Interreg Cooperation Day. And we had this nice debate, and I was against it at the time. And one of the big arguments why we shouldn't become Interreg Cooperation Day at the time was that not all programs were de facto Interreg in name, in spirit, most certainly, but not in name. And with the new regulation, finally, our whole family is under one brand, one name. And you just see in the logos of the programs, you can see how important Interreg brand is in this new programming period, as well as in the current one. So we have to come back to this question. So the question I hear from the colleagues is why reinvent the wheel? Why change the name? It's been working so well for us for the past 10 years. And the reason for that is very straightforward. It's because it does not match our long-term goals. And the long-term goal of the European Cooperation Day campaign is to promote Interreg results. And the long-term brand goal is to promote Interreg as a known brand. And if these are our goals, and I think you would agree that they are, then we have to reconsider the name of the campaign as well. So instead of just sending you a survey and asking you the question, are you for this or that? I thought it's much better if I show you the arguments, if we have a short discussion on it as well. I know the attitude overall of you since we did a survey earlier this year. It was more to feel the ground, to see how you feel, and then to get the arguments, present them, and vote where we have more people in the room. And we have 73 participants today, and the survey gets only like 20-30 people. So I think we have much better representation today, and we can address it directly and openly, I hope. And whichever approach you look at, there is not one perfect solution. So I put down the pros and cons for each side. So on the side of European Cooperation Day, for keeping it and against it, what are the pros? The pros are it's familiar and easy to keep going. That's definitely a good, strong argument. People understand what it means. That's also true. It's easy to understand European Cooperation Day, what we celebrate when we have an event and when we invite the people outside the bubble. It's easier to convey that message. And we have spent 10 years building it. So another strong argument for keeping European Cooperation Day. But then we have the cons. And one of the biggest cons is that this name is not aligned with our long-term brand goals from the previous slide. The name is also not accurate because Europe cooperates in 1,000 other ways, which are not Interreg. Interreg is our particular kind of cooperation. And in fact, Europe, everything that happens in the European Union happens because 27 member states and all the institutions and known and unknown bodies cooperated one way or another. And European Cooperation Day represents just one small part of it, but the name implies that we represent all the ways that Europe cooperates in. So there's a discrepancy there. And that's definitely something we should consider. EC, we often say EC Day, EC Day. I know the Commission has not been very happy with the abbreviation EC Day because EC stands for European Commission. So people might think this is European Commission Day. I've heard that argument. EC also stands for things like electronic commerce. So on the European Cooperation Day website, we get a lot of bounce. We get a high bounce rate because people searching for electronic commerce, and they also have a day of their own, actually end up on our website and bounce off immediately. EC also stands for country of Ecuador and many other things. So there's a confusion in branding there, and that's an argument for changing the name as well. Now, if we do change to Interreg Cooperation Day, and logo here on the right is just here for an example. It's not definitive, it's not ready-made, and I'm just serving you a thing that's been decided on and just want you to sign off on it. This is just for illustration purposes. So if we go with Interreg Cooperation Day, one of the biggest pros is that we're going to build a long-term Interreg brand. This name is accurate and inclusive. It is aligned with the regulation goals, which is also very important, a strong argument for this. It would fit your program brand, and we're trying to work on streamlining our communication in Interact to help Interreg. So instead of having 5, 6, 7 websites, we want to have fewer websites and more simplified, streamlined communication. In case we decide to go with Interreg Cooperation Day, all the information about Cooperation Day would go actually to Interreg EU website. We would integrate it, and instead of 2 places for you to log in and to learn how to navigate and take care of, it will be all in one place, which makes sense. But there are also cons for the name change to Interreg Cooperation Day. One of them is that it would take time and effort to switch. This is definitely true, and there are some logistical problems that we would have, especially if we decide to switch right away today. People might get confused at first when you tell them Interreg Cooperation Day. They might say, what is this Interreg? But this con is actually one of the big reasons for me why we should push in this direction, because our goal is to have Interreg as recognizable or even more recognizable as, for example, the Erasmus program. You tell people Erasmus, they know what it is. It became a brand, it's strong. And that did not happen overnight. And people might get confused with Interreg. Well, that's exactly the reason why we should promote it. If we reach 5+ million people every year for the next 10 years, can you imagine how many people will hear about Interreg? And even if they don't know the details of how it works, they might at least have the association of cooperation, regional in their heads. And that's the brand goal that we have. And the last con argument is, come on, we've been building European Cooperation Day for 10 years. Now this is all going to drop. It's a sunk cost. And honestly, I don't think it is, because I think that spending 10 years of promoting Europe and cooperation is definitely not a loss, but a good thing. We did a good thing, and now we're just going to improve on it. So those are the arguments. And in just a minute, I will let you add on to this list if you would like. But before we do that, I'm just going to quickly mention what would stay the same. The format would stay the same: fun and engaging events showing to the people what we do and why it matters. The date would stay the same, and full support from Interact would definitely stay the same, no matter which option we choose to go with. So that includes the guidelines, graphic design, website one way or the other, promotional videos, very strong social media campaign, promotional materials, etc. And in terms of next year, just a quick update. Also, some of the things that will stay the same. We have started preparing already for 2022, actually 2 months earlier than usual. So we have provisions in tenders for each scenario as well. And the thematic focus for next year is something that we know. It will be European Year of Youth. That will be our theme, and we will incorporate it into our visual identity, into our social campaign as well. And we will cooperate with REGIO on the activities and many other things, so that we join forces and make it bigger and better than ever. We will include some new ideas for local events, and we will refine our social media campaign even further. So that's something that you should know for next year. And now the options. So there's not just 2 options, we go one way or the other. There are actually 3. The first option is to keep European Cooperation Day as it is, which is of course easy in short term, but sort of hinders promotion of Interreg brand. Option number 2 is to switch to Interreg Cooperation Day right away, which opens up this world of opportunities to promote Interreg better, but it would cause some streamlining and logistical problems in 2022. We still need to have all of the programs approved. And that did not happen yet. And it would be better to avoid overlapping this final approval of programs and launching in the new programming period and changing the name. And it would be best if all the programs are submitted, approved, and started with the new period programming document, and then we go into the new era of Cooperation Day as well. And also in terms of website, if we decide to switch today, that would mean that for next year I would have to improvise the website or change the name, and that might cause some confusion. and it would be a little bit of a wasted effort. So that's why I came up with option number 3, which is to switch to Interreg Cooperation Day in 2023. This option is also not ideal. It allows for better preparation and streamlined approach. So in case we go with option number 3, next year we would spend in preparing for the switch. We would hire a branding expert. We would work with you on updating the logo, making the plans, refining our strategy and getting ready. And I hope all the programs get approved in the meantime so that January 1st, 2023, we switch and we go with Interreg Cooperation Day. Of course, this approach would delay promotion of Interreg brand. And now it's time to vote. But before we go to voting, questions, comments, emotions, nostalgia, everything.
There were some comments in the chat, Nebo.
Shoot.
Yeah, some people think that they ask if you have considered just call it Interreg Day.
I have not. It didn't come up before. It didn't come up in the survey or whenever we brought up the topic before, but it's an option, you know. And if we go with the option number 3, I guess that could come up and we could refine it. So we can consider option number 3, which includes the postponing a little bit of this approach, considering Interreg Day. I think it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, shorter.
It's shorter?
Yeah, if it's Interreg as such, so we don't, yeah.
I've also considered Cooperation Day, but it's even more vague and general than European Cooperation Day. So,
yeah.
And it doesn't have Interreg. I would like to see if there's any arguments that I missed on this slide. I tried to summarize all the pros and cons here, and then to ask you if there's anything missing. What do you think? Now is the time. 74 people in this meeting, and it's our campaign. I don't want to decide for you. I want this to be a joint decision, and for us to think on it together, make a decision together, and then it would take time and effort to switch. I plan to go 100% working to ease the transition as much as possible, so that the burden of the transition does not fall on the programs, but actually on us, and we do something that in the long term makes sense. I see things happening in the chat.
Yeah, basically people prefer Nebo Interreg Day. Many of us are also seconding this idea by Michela. I would like to come back to the comment that Martin said in the sense that, and you know me, you know I was also very skeptical about changing the name, because the same as Martin, I think that this is something that we create for the non-usual suspects, meaning we want exactly to have the general public hear and understand what this is and what we do. And do they know? If we say Interreg Day, doesn't that make maybe, when I prepare the local event in Valencia, for instance, I already have to explain what cooperation is. I mean, it's like a lot of explanations in terms of people that they just want to see a fun event.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one concern I also might have for this.
Most certainly, it's true.
Martin, feel free to speak.
Martin, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's always, hello, good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
It's always about, just like Laura said, when you address the, let's say, more general audience, it's about not explaining anything. It's like, for me, it should be Google search free branding, you know, you don't have to look for. So Interreg is maybe for our community because we know it, we work on it every day, but I don't know if the commission has some like polls to know, because Erasmus, there are some data showing that it's well known in Europe and also outside of Europe. I don't know for Interreg, because we are also new in this community, so I don't know to which extent the branding is known by the public, because when you do that kind of event, again, you should not start from explaining something, but just show. I mean, European Cooperation Day is quite self-explaining, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you can feel there are people cooperating. I mean, you in your imagination, you can feel something is happening. With Interreg Day, maybe you have to look for, if you do an event with an elementary school, you will have to explain what it is, which is good, by the way, so you can explain the work. So it's a decision. It's a decision.
Yeah, I mean, when we have European Cooperation Day, what usually happens is people come, we don't push on the abbreviations and the technical talk. We try to attract the people with a fun event. We invite them to a nice concert or an exhibition or a nature hike, clean up, tree planting, whatever. And then we try to sell what Interreg is. But it kind of ends up on the secondary side next to the European Cooperation Day. If you mention Interreg, it kind of confuses them. And this is exactly why we're trying to turn it around. And it's not going to happen over a year. Definitely a year or two will not make everybody understand, oh, Interreg Day, I know it. But it's a long-term process where you're trying to keep selling it, keep explaining every year, and it should be getting easier and easier for people to identify what we do, the work we do, and the results that they see when they come at the event, to identify that with Interreg brand. There is a proposal, European Interreg Day. I don't know, maybe I would consider it for sure. All the ideas that end up in like as an alternative to Interreg Cooperation Day, I would include people who are for that. I would count them under option number 3 in voting. My Mediterranean computer does not want to proceed. There we go. So switching in 2023, this will allow us to really polish what we do exactly with the name, if it's Interreg Day or Interreg Cooperation Day or even European Interreg Day. This will allow us for the programs to get approved, for pandemic to ease, for Interact to work on the streamlining work that we're doing, and we would polish it up. If there's no more questions, I think we should go to the vote.
Hold on.
May I add something?
Yes, please.
I strongly appreciate your effort, because even if I think that we invest 10 years of our work and we invest money in order to build step by step a European Cooperation Day.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I managed the EC Day, and the main I think that the word European help us to understand that we are part in a community, in a European community. So for me, the word European should stay, because gives a high level of involvement, first of all. And then the word cooperation is, for me, it is important because we celebrate cooperation. So I think that if we delete cooperation and we focus, yes, I understand the needs to focus on the Interreg, the word Interreg. We delete a word that is the main focus of our activities, that is the cooperation. That's why I think that European Cooperation Day is the main, represents in very clear and easy our activities and our, in general, our idea of cooperation. So I continue to suppose that European Cooperation Day is the best way to represent this event.
I really understand and feel this argument. I've heard it. I put it there on the slide because I totally understand it. For me, visually, people come, we tell them European Cooperation Day. Fine, what is it about? And then you start talking about Interreg, and they all of a sudden come up with the questions. So the challenge of communicating Interreg is always there. And the benefit of having European as part of the brand and as part of the local event, I think is best represented with the EU flag. Because as a branding element, we will always have it. It will always be there. All the institutions already have a big EU flag. It's always going to be part of our materials, part of our visual identity. So I think we should promote Europe and what it is with the European flag. And the name for me should have definitely Interreg, since we've invested so much, including in regulation, into promoting this brand. We had some activity in the chat as well. Arkam is saying, I'm leaning towards Interreg Day 2, because if we had Doctor's Day, we wouldn't call it Doctor's Healing Day. Cornelius agrees, so on. Interreg for sure will help. Did I miss something?
Sorry, if I may, maybe the difference is that, yeah, everybody knows what a doctor is. If you say Doctor's Day, you don't have to explain, maybe. But if you say Interreg, you need an explanation.
It's definitely true. And it will keep staying like that until we commit to it, you know? How will the short name sound? Interreg Day, maybe? You do not need any abbreviation. Yeah, Dana, that's a good point. Interreg Day. And also hashtag Interreg we are already in the habit of using it on social media. So there's always hashtag Interreg, but hashtag EC Day and then the year, so that people don't confuse it with Electronic Consumers Day. Keeps changing and not everybody uses it. iDay, brought to you by Apple. Maybe not iDay, but maybe InDay, in cooperation with trust. I mean, we can play with it. You know, there's a lot of things to consider. I wouldn't waste any more time. I would go to the poll. I mean, this is not wasting time, but it's a delay into making a decision. I really enjoyed the discussion. I think we've heard and seen all the arguments before. The options are here, and I would really love to see now what you think. I'm going to stop sharing.
There's more questions in the chat. Shall we then?
Let's do the question first and then vote. What is the question?
I don't know if Martin has the hand raised, or that was from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. It's just food for thought for the discussion. I mean, I will go with the majority, but for us again, it's new, and especially because some of the programs are actually addressing partner countries outside Europe. So showing Europe in the branding is a very good message, because I mean, people outside Europe can understand that this is something about Europe, and it makes things very immediate, in my opinion. So European in one way should stay in the branding, in my opinion, because you're also showcasing a positive image of Europe outside of its border through this day. So it's very important.
It's a valid point. Definitely there. Any other questions or comments before we say I do or I don't? Let's see where the pulse is. The future of European Cooperation Day. There are 3 options. I'm going to launch the poll now. Please tell me that you see it.
Yes.
Okay. So the future of Cooperation Day. What are we going to do with the campaign name? Single choice. Keep European Cooperation Day, change to Interreg Cooperation Day right away, or change to Interreg Cooperation Day or something similar in 2023.
Sorry, can I ask you how
Yes.
definitively will you take the answer to these polls?
I'm
Are we
sorry?
deciding? I just wanted to ask, you know, if we are deciding right now whether we're going to keep European Cooperation Day, call it Interreg Cooperation Day or Interreg Day. I mean, is this the point in time where this decision will definitely be taken, or is the beginning of a conversation?
I was hoping that we decide today,
Okay.
but the thing is that each time we talk about it, people are split. So if we're split, we need to decide how we work with that information. If there's a clear majority and it's strong, we go one way. But if it's not clear majority and we're very split, then we'll see.
I suggested Interreg Day and I like it, but all the arguments for keeping European Cooperation Day are really good. It's more self-explanatory. So I am split. I'm really
I see only, okay, 48 people. I'm not voting, so my answer will not be reflected in the results. But I'll be honest, my opinion is that we should change it in 2023. This would give us time to refine the brand, refine the transition. Linda cannot vote because we're co-hosts.
Yeah, all of us Interact as co-hosts cannot vote, but this is good because in the end, Interact, we want to talk to you about this. We don't want to decide on this. Yeah. So
56 out of 66. I have 10 people who have not voted yet.
How many of Interact are we? Maybe it's us.
Maybe it's us. Maybe it's us. So it's one,
no,
two.
it's not us because there are 72 participants.
So that's true. Out of 66. Yeah. Out of 66. Please, I'll give you a bit more time to vote, because the more people vote, the more results matter.
It's the sleeping party.
Okay, no, it says 59, 59. Poktep, Almudena is trying to vote for more than one people. The laughing emoji. Okay, I think that the rest are sleeping. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results. What do you think the results are? The results are not surprising to me. I've seen this before, and I think that us in Interact will have to break it and make the call for everyone. So the results are 40% are for keeping European Cooperation Day, 20% are for changing and doing it right away, and 39% are for changing to European Cooperation Day in 2023, which gives the majority to the change of 59 to 41. It's not a huge majority though, but it's still a majority. And since we're not changing on January 1st, 2022, what do you say if we consider this as a decision? Yes, we're going forward, but yes, we need to keep talking about how we do it. Does that sound like a reasonable solution? We talk about how we incorporate European in the brand. Is it with a flag? Is it with a slogan of the campaign? Does that sound like something? Or you're going to make me decide? I'm here. I really want to hear your comments now. Any last words?
I don't know, Neo, I think we are all super divided.
Yeah.
That, yeah, even Almudena was like, yeah, in my programs, but in the end, as everybody said, the majority speaks. So
Yeah. Okay. I will break it for you. I understand
yeah.
all the arguments for keeping European Cooperation Day. But we will never have a full majority on it. And I also really feel for the sentiment of European Cooperation Day. I will consider these results as a signal to, yes, we are concerned about the future of the campaign's name, because there's 41% of you who want to keep European Cooperation Day. So we will not switch in 2022. But I will consider the results of today's vote as a green light for me to start the change, and for me to start working on changing the name on January 1st, 2023. And I will try to involve all of you and people who are not here with us today, but as well are part of our team, part of our group, into how exactly we do it, what is the exact name that we adopt in 2023, how we promote it, how we brand it, how we implemented the transition. And with this, I'm going to stop sharing the result. I did a screenshot, plus we have the recording, I have the proof. And we should probably make the short break, Laura.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch a comment by Danny. I don't know, Danny, if you want to speak up, but he said if we consider that locally we use the local name of the event and the EC-Day acronym.
Mm-hmm.
The task of all programs is to promote EU and in subsidiary the financial instrument program. It's not that we have to decide anything. I just wanted to take all the comments on board. And Danny, if you want to talk, now is the time.
Hello everybody. Good morning
Danny.
or good afternoon, depending on the time zone where you are. In fact, locally here in our border, we use the full name of the EC Day. Depending on the event where we promote it, we use the Romanian name or the Serbian name. And the acronym EC Day, it's used only during the technical communication or to report something. So we use the local names, but also, as far as I learned during time, I think the task of the programs is to promote the Europe, the idea of the European Union, and Interreg is part of the European Union. Regarding changing, but this is just personally, if we have to change something, I think it is better to change from the next year, not to wait 2023. It's no way. If we decide to go forward with one name or the other name, I think it's better to change it as soon as possible in order to get results as soon as possible. Because if we still stay one more year for European Cooperation Day and we want to change to Interact Cooperation Day or Interact Day, why we should wait another year just to promote something that it will be dead in the end after all.
Well, I understand, Danny, but I think, as I mentioned, promoting Europe and cooperation for me is not a sunk cost. And the switch is not as easy as you might think, because we're trying to streamline our communication. We're trying to eliminate confusion from our communication, so that when people come to European Cooperation Day, they know why you're talking about Interreg and what Interreg is. No matter how you turn it, no matter how you look at it and what's in the logo, at the end of the day, when these people come to the local event, we have to talk about Interreg. It's our job. It's part of our goal, both of the brand and the campaign goal is to promote Interreg. And if this is the ultimate goal, then Interreg should be in the front of it. It should be in the name, so that people are not surprised when they come to Interreg Day that we're talking about something that's Interreg. And yes, it's not maybe well known now, but if we do this campaign well and we reach 5 million people plus every year, and we keep selling Interreg, and showing what that means, it needs to be more than a word. People need to have an image in their head of what this word stands for. and the image is what they see when they come to the local event. So it really is a long-term thing. It really is something that you cannot just jump into.
Agree with you. If we want to promote the financial instrument, which is Interreg, we are part of the Interreg, and if we want to promote this, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But if we want to promote the European Union, the idea of being European, the idea of being part of something European, in this case, we should keep European at least within the name. Agree with all of your points. With pro and cons, totally agree with you. And after all, is the decision of going in some direction. But in this case, I talk with my colleague. We are at least 3 representatives of one program, and I don't know if this vote is representative for the programs taken individually. You know, because some programs have only 1 representative at this meeting, other programs have 3 representatives, as it is our case.
It's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, really. I talk with my office colleague. I don't know how she will vote or how she already voted. She doesn't know how I vote. And I don't know how my colleague from the managing authority voted already. So I think it should. The decision is not a good day to take the decision today. On the other hand,
when we do a survey, there's very little activity, Dani. When we do a survey and there's like 20 people voting, then I have to decide on the results of 20 people voting instead of 76, you know, and there's no ideal way to do it. And I think we're we have a good representation here geographically and with the types of programs and like a number of people as well.
Based on the results, the majority decides to change, even if we change next year or 2 years from now on, because 41% keep the European Cooperation Day, and the difference 59 choose something different.
I also see a few points in the chat as well. Frank Schneider is in supporting the idea. I think Kevin as well. Natalie commented, why are we voting? It seems that the decision for promoting the Interreg brand has already been taken. Nope. I actually made provisions in the tenders that we launched, and those are public on the website, for either option. So for me, the most important thing is that we decide on this together as a group. And I'm ready both emotionally and in terms of preparation for either option. Honestly, I am. And I am also feeling nostalgic about European Cooperation Day as well. And I also expected the results that we had today. I'm not surprised because I know how you guys feel. We've talked over the years many times about this. And I did expect majority to vote for Interreg Cooperation Day, but I did not expect overwhelming majority, and that's exactly what happened. So we can repeat the vote in a year. In 3 years, the result is going to be very similar, I think. So we need to make an executive decision and then work with you and refine it. I do not support. I don't think it's a great idea to switch right away because the programs are not approved, and this would damage the streamlining effort we're working on. And the voting supports this as well. So the majority actually voted for 2023. And I think that's the way we should go. And then we should continue this conversation next year with all of you on what is the best way to do it. Martin has his hand raised.
Yeah, let's Martin and then Michela.
Yes. Maybe Michela can go first and then I can just intervene.
Thank you. It's very short. I just thought that the Horizon 2020 has something similar. It's called European Researchers' Night. And I was wondering if we would have the option to check with them and see what, if this has provided some added value for the brand Horizon, or if they don't have a brand at all, they don't brand their program the way we brand Interreg. Sort of just try to build on their experience, because the European Researchers' Night also been going on for a long time. And yeah, obviously they don't call it Horizon 2020 night, they call it European Researchers Night. And again, I'm kind of talking against my own idea. Yeah, it's not an easy shift, but maybe that's a good benchmark.
Thanks, I'll look into it. I wrote it down. Martin?
Yes, just to say that I think that Danny before he really raised very important points about the strategy and what we want to achieve through celebrating the European Cooperation Day or whatsoever its name. So for my personal point of view, it's really a celebration of Europe, European identity through cooperation. And it's even more important, again, when you are dealing with partner countries which are located outside of Europe, but are also benefiting from Europe. And in our work, in the communication, we always try to build this very positive and consistent image of the European Union, because it's the donor, it's the people who are funding us. And especially in challenging period where there've been or there are still some like bashing, not toward Europe, but towards European institutions. It's not Europe, the issue, it's the institutions. So all this little step we can build around building this image of the European Union, for me, are essential. So keeping this name in the branding is an important step. And as Michaela just said, even a strong program as Horizon, which is a well-known brand, is not using its brand for its highlight even during campaign during the year. So it's again it's a decision, and yeah, it's a difficult decision, because I also understand your point, like you want to put forward the Interreg branding, and I also share this your point that we can start the work of making the Interreg branding fully known, more known. I don't know what's how the Interreg branding stands right now. So it's a decision. It's a decision. But the discussion is very good we're having, in my opinion. Then someone will be happy with the decision, but I will go with the final decision. But it's good we're discussing this. It's very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. I really appreciate the discussion and all the points raised. I also hope that we see more events this year. Unfortunately, none of the transnational programs organize the local event, including Med program, and I'm hoping to see more of you engaged and involved and caring about the Cooperation Day campaign. So I'm glad that you're participating, and I hope that we also see some local events from you, no matter what the exact name is next year. But I think at this point we should close this part of the session. Of course, the conversation is not over. The results are what they are. They're part of the official record, and we take it from this point forward. As the communication, as the campaign manager, I have to take the hard decision to decide what we do, but I will not decide on the details on my own. I will invest a lot of time and work to keep this conversation open next year into how exactly we implement. But I think that the switch is now officially happening.
Okay, I don't know how you feel. Maybe 5 minutes break. Or
yeah, we took a bit more time, but it was important to get it out, to share it.
To discuss, and as Nebojsa said, nothing is decided. So since we are not going for the change straight away, we still have 1 year to talk to you, to see how you feel about this, and to start the process like smoothly.